tested our character, came out victorious.
Those are soldiers.
Start with you, Coach.
In the end, there can be only one. We are very excited, obviously, to bring home another championship to Las Cruces. I want to compliment Coach Berlin and the job he did down the stretch. I think they were 9-1 in their last 10 games, or 8-1 in their last 9 games, playing great basketball at the right time. We had a good game plan. They struggled a little bit from the three-point line, which they need to make those threes in order to keep that gap closed. But we did a good job of guarding them as well. So, but you know, he's had a good journey, and their team did a really good job to fight through adversity and win in spite not winning earlier in the year, but to make it to the conference finals in their last year is you know, hats off to Don and the Vandals. In reference to my guys, I'm just really excited that they've continued to develop and grow and learn and buy in and understand that you know, these old coaches know what we're talking about from time to time. And once they have fully committed to that, which I think they have by now, they're a pretty doggone good team. So we're looking forward to whoever we may play. Making the tournament is obviously a goal that we had. I'm very excited about getting back and hopefully trying to make some noise when we get there. You know, it's you never know what seed you're going to get. You never know who you're going to play, but our goal is to always win games, and all we do is win, no matter what. That's it.
Go ahead and take some questions.
Thank you. Yeah, Coach, a couple of things. Sorry about my voice, too. First question, Steven Madison. You went up against him with Idaho for 4 years. His career comes to an end, second all-time leading scorer there. Just your thought on the career he had and facing him.
Well, his growth is indicative of the coaching that he received. I mean, and his work ethic. He was a freshman that came in, and you looked at him and you said, boy, he's going to be pretty good one day. One day has come. He is a heck of a player, and we had to design a lot of what we did tonight defensively around him. You know, I gave him an extra hug and a little conversation at the end because he's worthy and deserving of it. You know, I want to go and run and grab my wife and give her a kiss, but there's certain kids that make you stop and think about them, and he's one of those guys.
And finally, obviously not your first trip to the NCAA tournament. Maybe what does, I mean, other than size, this team bring to the table that maybe others you've taken to this level have not?
Well, we've grown a lot this past year, and I think that our maturity hopefully will bode well for us in the tournament. Our experience, we've only got 2 seniors, but we've got a lot of underclassmen that have had experienced success at a high level. So, you know, we're hoping that they come in and have the same mental discipline that they had tonight, just very focused and relaxed. And, you know, when there was something went wrong in terms of a, you know, questionable call or a missed shot or whatever it may have been, they just bounced back and went and played the next possession. And I think you need that type of fiber in a team in order to be able to be competitive in the NCAA tournament. And this team has that.
To be playing your 3rd game in 3 days, maybe not on the freshest legs, but to have your widest margin of victory, a 20-plus point win, what does that say about the toughness and the resiliency of your guys? Well,
my legs are tired. So if my legs are tired from walking them back and forth, I know that these guys are beat up. It's mental toughness. You know, guys like Daniel right here is proven that he's a very, very, you know, resilient individual when it comes to that mental toughness of fighting through adversity and pain, and, you know, everything from playing with his jaw wired shut to you know, injuries that he's had and bumps and bruises and just playing through them, and crowd didn't know and people didn't know. There were several nights where he had a bruise or a bump or something going on where he just said, Coach, I'm good. I got to play. I love this game too much. And there's a difference between being hurt and being injured, and he can play when he's hurt.
Daniel, it seems like, you know, you and Idaho have a lot of admiration for each other, and it's pretty classy out there. But did some of the talk of, you know, Steven Madison should have been WAC Player of the Year, that maybe motivate you a little bit more coming into this game?
Not at all. I actually didn't even hear anything about
Me
that.
either.
Yeah, I didn't really
It
hear.
might have been a Moscow thing.
Yeah, I think it was on that side of the town, but I never heard any of that talk, so I can't say it was like
There was
more
a-
of a motivation.
Not to cut you off, Daniel, but actually to cut you off, there was a lot of people that were, Grayson, there's a lot of guards, there's a lot of players that are great players. But usually to the victor goes the spoils, and when you're in that upper echelon and you're a team guy and you're doing multiple things across the board, there's a lot of people that can score, but Daniel puts up points and rebounds and assists and steals, and he's more of a complete player, I think, and I think the coaches that voted, we do this for a living, so I think that the vote was accurate.
Daniel, can you you guys have had some ups and downs or whatever, like, seemed like some big non-conference wins, up and down in conference play. Just talk about now, but you're right back where you were last year at this time. So what's it been like this year compared to?
This year's been a roller coaster ride, and like Coach always says, at the beginning of the season, there's all the teams, in the NCAA, and every team has their trials and tribulations, and just like every team, we had ours. Like you said, we had a couple highs, had a couple good games, good wins, non-conference, and then we also had a couple, bad losses in conference play. But the thing that's resilient about us is that we all stick together, and we all emphasize, from the coaches and staff to the managers to the players, we all emphasize being a family and playing for your brothers and just sticking together. And especially with having one of our brothers out, Casey, I think that kind of gave us more motivation and added more fuel to our fire to try to go out and try to three-peat and try to get this win for not only ourselves but for him as well.
You had a different role out there this week.
Yeah.
Scoring really wasn't your main responsibility. Were teams focusing on you, or was it just a different role for you?
I could say it was like a combination, and Coach put me as the point, and he just had a talk with me, a conversation with me, and just reminded me that there's different gears when you're at the point rather than being on the wing, and I don't mind doing that because like he said, I can contribute in other ways, not only by scoring, but if they're paying a little bit more attention to me, then that means most of my teammates are open, so I can I'm able to find them, whether it's the postman or guys on the wings for threes.
You look at Daniel's line tonight. He's got 18 points, he's got 8 boards, he's got 4 assists, he's got 2 steals. It's just he's perfect from the line. That's just a winner, man. It's just, we're so glamorized by points, I think, as from a fan base, and people don't understand that the real champions can do a lot more, and the superstars in the NBA, which he's not yet, but hopefully one day. But they do other things, and I think that's the key.
Coach, what can you apply over the previous NCAA tournaments to this year? Do you look back at that at all? And second, does this team is it built for the tournament? Did it make a run?
Well, if we go out there and get our butt kicks, we weren't. If we play a great game and win by 1 or 2 or lose by 1 or 2, then we probably are. I feel like we are. I feel like we're wherever we're projected, and not projected, but wherever we're seated. I think we'll be competitive against whoever we play against. There's some things that we do look at in the past and that we've done that we think we're valuable, and then there's other things. Sometimes I can think off the top of my head when we first went. My first year was at Michigan State. That first time, and then how we handled things then, and then the next year we tried to do some things differently in terms of how much information we presented to the guys and how we presented it. I think one of the things I know that we'll do is to not change much of what we're doing. You can get a little excited as a staff guy. You want to start presenting pictures and and all kinds of different stuff. We got a scouting report, and that's the one they've been seeing all year, is the one they're going to see for whoever we face in the first round.
This is for Sim. This is your second straight year being named the tournament MVP. What are you able to do so well, especially in this tournament, for the second straight year?
It's definitely. I'm a man. I know I got to pick my game up, especially since it's one and done. And My teammates do a great job of just motivating me, and I mean, it's always not easy being my size and running around the court, but they always tell me to keep my head up and keep doing my thing. And I think every time March comes around, I try and play my best game.
Coach, I think one of the interesting things about your three-peat is there's been 3 very different iterations of the WAC, of all the teams. I mean,
Correct.
has that made it a little more challenging for you?
It has. It has. I think teams, you get to know teams, you get to know coaching styles, and you're more comfortable when you go against an opponent that you've been playing for a while. I know that Don was probably comfortable with what we were going to do, and we were comfortable with what he's going to do. But at the end of the day, it's about the players that walk out there. I think when you get to a certain level of, I don't want to call it complacency, but familiarity with a team, it really comes back down to who has the best players. Because you're not going to outcoach many guys at this level. You may steal a few plays here and there, but I do think that it helps to have that consistency. So hopefully there won't be a lot of turnover, going forward, maybe adding a couple guys, but we'd like to keep some consistency going forward, and I think that'll help all the coaches as well.
Sim, Daniel, Ronaldo have been in three tournament games now. You played in one last year. Like, how do you guys take that next step in the tournament? I know it's a tough matchup. You played some good teams, but I mean, what's that atmosphere like compared to anything else that you guys, have done?
Can you repeat the question?
The NCAA tournament. I mean, what's it going to take to take that next step and maybe get a victory?
We just gotta play our best game, pretty much. Guys got to come together, just work together to achieve that big goal. I think we have the team to do it. We got great chemistry, guys, a great character. I don't see why we can't win a game or two.
Me either.
Coach, you guys have won 3 straight, and you guys haven't played anybody better than a 4 seed at this tournament in 3 years. I guess what I'm wondering is, with all of these upsets going on around it, maybe speak to the consistency of your program at this tournament, and maybe how you guys have avoided all the upsets and, kind of been the last one standing.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. Someone, actually not someone, but one of my best friends and I were talking to a buddy of mine from LA who drove out, actually is here, and we were just kind of talking about the dynamics of this tournament, and then that scenario kind of came up when Utah Valley got upset, and you can't worry at all about who your probable next opponent is. We have a coach preparing for one team, and we have other coaches preparing for the other team. So as soon as that game is over, we already have a full scouting report when we get upstairs. We're not putting together things that we're waiting to see who wins. I think that the dynamics of my staff really have been the difference, to be quite honest with you. Paul Weir, who is my associate head coach, who is the coordinator of the defense, and Keith Brown, does the offense, and then Eric Sanders, this is his first year, does personnel. But those 3 components are critical in preparing these guys to understand what they're going to go against. And Keith has been here 2 years now. Paul's been with me the whole journey, but 3. This is Keith's 3rd, right? So he's won, it's probably not a big coincidence that he's been here 3 years and we've gone to 3 NCAA tournament. He's played a major role in that. So I guess a long answer to a short question is I think my staff. I think my staff has enabled me to be a CEO and not a micromanager.
Coach, you seem to speak pretty highly of Don Verlin. He said you guys were the toughest team they had to face this season. Would you talk about Don Verlin as a coach and the job he's done at Idaho, and maybe them?
It's a tough job. It's a tough job. Jobs shouldn't be weighed on wins and losses. Unfortunately, that's all the fans see, but there's a larger picture involved when you look at from top to bottom and developing young men. You could look at Stephen, and go, he's a great kid and he probably got a great, family, but all I know is Don Verlin's been in his life for 4 years, and I'm pretty impressed with the individual that's graduating there. So, you got to look at guys like that, and you look at, Connor's got another year, and he's lights out, not just from a shooter, he's just a class act kid, just a character kid. You know, he just every time, you know, he gives you a nice firm shake or a nice hug. You know, I mean, he's, you know, you can see the pain in his eyes from the loss, but you're just looking at a kid and you feel bad. You know, you feel sorry for him. In your own elation, you're going, you know, I wish you could have 2 winners, but unfortunately there can be only one. And that's indicative of the job that Don does. And he's tough to prepare for because he, you know, they run a lot of different things, obviously from the Utah State system. And there's just a lot of talent that they if they can get more players, more talented players and within that system, I think it's tough to recruit to Moscow. So, you know, but the challenge is what it is. But I think if they can get that, I think he could win at any level, you know.
This question's for Daniel. When you're having such a lead as you did tonight in this game, how do you and your teammates find composure, you know, to still play and still act classy while you're playing?
I think that you know, in every timeout and every huddle that we have, you know, we just talk to each other and just keep each other on the ball, make sure that we don't slip, because you know, you see a lot of leads get lost, you know, and like Coach said, early leads mean nothing, and you know, being down doesn't mean anything. So you know, we know these guys are gonna come out with energy. So you know, we just had to keep our composure and stay together and make sure that you know, we stayed with what was working for us on offense and on defense as well.
And just sorry. Okay, so beginning of the game, Randall's had come out pretty hard, and your team kind of switched. Is that kind of what happened? Then you guys kind of passed up a 3-1?
Yeah, we recognized that they were trying to come out hard, and you know, they were pushing down in transition because I guess they analyzed that they kind of had an advantage with their bigs being a little faster than our bigs. So they try to push it in transition, and that's where they're getting us a little bit. But you know, we got into the timeout, we huddled, and we readjusted our defense, making sure that you know, if us guards on the wings were unsure that we were going to get it, we just run back on defense to make sure we stop there to prevent their transition, and you know, just give our bigs a chance to come back because we knew they couldn't play with us in half.
A lot of Aggie fans here in the arena today. Just talk about what that means to you guys and to the program. You know, including the governor was even here tonight.
Sam, why don't you answer that?
I mean, it's a great feeling to look up to the stands and just seeing all that crimson up there. I mean, even when we're down, we just hear the noise from the fans, and it really picks us up. And we know we got to get that W for them. I mean, for the whole city, Las Cruces.
City of Las Cruces. That's what he meant to say. He said state of Las Cruces.
City.
Can we just rewind the tape?
If I could